Hello and good evening. This is Chuck Kenyon with his lecture summary assignment number 5 for PHED 6675. The assignment is physical activity should be the sole outcome measured by which we should judge the quality and effectiveness of school physical education programs and for which programs should be held accountable, yes or no. I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that you cannot have physical activity or physical education without high quality teachers leading the programs. So just physical activity in general can be taught by pretty much anybody. I also firmly believe that if you are teaching an algebra class, you need to have somebody that is math certified. If you're teaching a reading class, you need to have somebody that has literature and reading background. You do not try to throw somebody who's not qualified in classes to lead and to direct those classes. So my thoughts are you need to have a high quality physical education teacher leading those programs. Not just having physical activity. Now, physical activity can be a part of the school. I have been a part of a school where everybody at the beginning, the first 10 minutes of class, it was a reading initiative. So every first 10 minutes of every single class that we were in, we had to have a book and we had to read because our reading scores were low. And our test scores were low because our reading was at a lower level. So what we ended up doing is reading silently for 10 minutes in each class. And quite honestly, the reading coordinator for the school came to each department and gave specific instructions on how to do this. Now, that's where I firmly believe a high quality teacher, physical education teacher, can initiate school-wide learning and school-wide physical activity. But then they also have to be able to monitor the outcomes of that physical activity and also lead and direct those physical activity programs in a school. But I firmly believe that PE program needs to be on the front burner as far as physical activity is concerned. Students need to have a high quality teacher in front of them to show them the way, to give them the steps, to give them the skills, and then not only to give them the skills, but to monitor and practice those skills so that they can become lifetime learners. Things such as the Let's Move initiative and the Spark and Catch initiatives that are being run right now in school-wide programs, they can be facilitated and led by a quality physical education teacher. I don't think that we can just throw out physical activity and think that that's going to help with the obesity crisis and diabetes and heart disease and those types of things. You have to have high levels of moderate to vigorous physical activity, and you're trying to, in the classes, you're trying to get to that 50% of the time should be that MVPA. Well, we know that that's not going to happen. Just like it was discussed in the PowerPoint, like the Spark scenarios have increased school activity or MVPA by even a couple of minutes, but even a couple of minutes really dives deep into the overall physical well-being of the students. We have to have the whole of school physical activity program. Even if it's increased by a few minutes, we have to have active schools. And then, you have the other scenarios like the SHAPE grants and those types of things that are there to provide help and money and support for those physical education programs and physical education teachers. The ultimate goal is to have physical literacy, and we're dealing with the whole child. We're not dealing with just one segment of the child. We're dealing with the whole child. So we're dealing with the mind and now the body as far as that is concerned. And I firmly believe that you need to have a high quality physical education teacher leading that program, not just have physical activity school-wide. The article with the physical education's role in public health steps forward. there were two bullet points that really stuck out to me. The first, and they go hand in hand. The first one is prepare the youth for a lifetime of physical activity, and that's something that we can't see right immediately in front of us. We have to see that down the road. The second part is the part that we see immediately, and that's to provide the students with physical activity during qualified PE classes. And I think that we need to initiate and roll out more physical education classes, not just make it an elective, but to make it a scenario where we are heading in the right direction in our classes and making sure that physical education is a core curriculum class. I really liked what Dr. Hydorn and his two colleagues said when, and I quote, the learning experience must provide maximal activity or practice time for all students at an appropriate level of ability. Well, you need to have quality educators in front of that to monitor that. And then it says, and I quote again, therefore, quality learning experiences are inherently active because they provide students with maximal time to practice the skills that they are learning. If learning experiences are not active, then students are not learning the skills necessary to be active for a lifetime. But in order for us to get there, not just to be active, but we have to have intent with the physical activity. And I feel teachers, quality physical education teachers, are the route to go. The implications my position has on school programs, I think that the initial rollout can be delivered by the physical education teacher. Delivery of content in PE preparation programs, again, high quality physical education teachers need to be the ones spearheading that. Like I made mention earlier, that when we're dealing with reading initiatives, you have a reading coach that's there to spearhead that. If you're having trouble with math or with algebra, then your algebra teachers and your math department heads are really spearheading that type of thing. So we need to have physical education teachers spearheading activity and physical activity for the school, and we need to be not just holding physical activity as accountable. And the implications on how we assess this program is overall making sure that kids are healthy. And we're not really going to see that. We can see that in assessments of skill-related fitness levels, but we're not going to be able to see the overall aspect and the overall end result until later on down the road. But we have to start somewhere. We can't just let it keep going, because obesity is going to grow. Diabetes, the diabetes epidemic is going to grow, and also heart disease, which is still the #1 killer in the United States. It's going to continue to grow unless we do something at the grassroots. Somebody needs to try something, and I think that we need to do it at the grassroots level in our physical education classes. Thank you and have a great night.